snowmobiling in Houghton, Michigan. I'm riding the old M7, ripping it up on that. It was a beautiful weekend up there. Fresh powder everywhere. They just got absolutely dumped on. So we started off on the Houghton side, and we made our way across the river to the Hancock side. You can see the drawbridge on the other side, which is super cool to see. We did ride across on the way back because the river started to thaw out, but I did not have that camera because it was pitch black out. So unfortunately, we had tons of riders out there, tons of people just enjoying the awesome trails that we had. This was pretty cool, riding across the river. I've never been up here snowmobiling. I've been up here skiing, so enjoying the rivers and snowmobiling was cool. The old M's just ripping it up. I think that's great. Well, it did do great. You'll see at the end of this video what happened to it. But yeah, just pulling the skis right off the snow like it's nothing. Yeah, so we started off, like I said, in the Houghton side, went across the Hancock side. You have to drive through Hancock and the snowmobile trails for a ways because that's how you get out to the main trails. And the east side of the trails was closed. Apparently there's like a bunch of washouts on that side, so everybody had to come in and out on the west side. I mean, it was okay. On the way back, it got pretty bumpy, really whooped out. Lots of snowmobilers. There's another M series, waving people on to go. It was kind of neat though. You ride by like the businesses and everybody's houses and stuff. I guess that's probably why they don't like you to have too loud of a can, because like people are trying to sleep at night and people are ripping snowmobiles till like 1 o'clock in the morning up there. Lots and lots of stop and goes through the town. I mean, constantly. You're not going too fast either, so you gotta like cruise nice and slow. I found my friend here. She also was taping with the GoPro, so she'll probably have a video up soon. I'll probably link her channel in the description if you want to go check hers out. Gotta cross, make sure that nobody's coming. You don't want to get hit by one of the Houghton people up there. Just cruising to the town. We get out into some better trails. Like this is pretty dirty because it's obviously in the town, a lot of salt and dirt. There's quite a few gas stations on this ride, luckily. We did almost run out of fuel on the way back, so make sure you know how far you can make it on your sled and fuel-wise, because like there's a fuel station up in Copper Harbor, because that's where we went to, but from there you have to go all the way. Well, there's one in Calumet if you make it there, but otherwise it's like quite a ways to get to another fuel station. These roads are slippery. The car bikes don't bite into the asphalt, especially frozen asphalt very well. Houghton's pretty cool though, because it's got a lot of like old buildings up there. So is Hancock, which is what we're rolling through right now. So if you guys have never been up to the Keweenaw, I would highly recommend even just visiting it. You don't have to go snowmobiling. There's a lot to do up there. Summertime, there's tons of mountain biking and hiking. Wintertime, there's snowmobiling, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, downhill skiing. Ton of cool places up there. Like you got Mount Bohemia, which is all backcountry. There was some like the backcountry snowmobiling in some areas. You just gotta know where they are, because there's a lot of private-owned land up there too that people don't want you just snowmobiling wherever. So just check in before you just go off the trail wherever you feel like. As you can see, there was a ton of snow up there. As you pass people, you're supposed to give them hand signals to tell how many people are behind you. I wear mittens, snowmobiling. It's a little bit hard for me to do that, but like it was kind of gotta guess like It's really easy to make sure that, like, for me to make the last person sign. A little bit hard for me to show how many are coming. On the way out, there's quite a few until you get out away from town a ways, road crossings. On the way back, we like saw some dog running down one of these roads just by itself. Just a dog, like it's like an Australian Shepherd or something, in the middle of the night, just running on the road by itself. We're like, what was that? The first bit's a lot of just straight, like pipelines. Basically, you're riding on straight, flat, and then you get out. Halfway out there, just under halfway, you get some pretty sweet, twisty, turny trails with a lot of snow. So this is the first field that we made it to, and as you can see, they're ripping around the field, and then somebody gets stuck, like typical. They don't have long tracks like on the M, with the little 121s with the little grousers on it. He instantly got buried out there. Not like the mountain sleds where they just float. I got those big float skis, and my sled's so light. I tried helping them out, but we called in the reinforcements and they were able to get them out. Like, everybody came over to help them. You see them just sitting on top. There's probably like a good 3 feet of snow here. Ripping it with the rush there. Getting it. Had a little flutter there with the M. Power's fun though. There's like this that funny little like hill thing there that you think you could jump but you can't really. So I went back out just cruising down the trails. It didn't last too much longer and my GoPro died because it was like freezing. I think the day we were riding here it was like a high of 10. So everything got a little chilly. Everybody's goggles and stuff were fogging up, and helmets and whatnot. Then we stopped at an 8 up at Copper. That was freezing. But there's some pretty cool views up there. You'll see in a little bit, like the Brockway Mountain, Brockway Mountain Road. That's pretty sweet. Definitely recommend going to see that. You can see a long ways from up there. Yeah, here we're just cruising. This is what a lot of the trail looked like. If you like to go fast, it's definitely a place for you then. The farther out we went, the deeper the snow got. So like as you can see here, the snow's like pretty deep. So if you could find areas that like you're allowed to go off trail, that would be super cool up there because you can do some serious boondocking, ditch banging, and all that snow. I mean, there's like a foot and a half just on the side of the trail there. On the way back, you'll see it's a lot more twisty, turny. A lot of fun to be just like on the throttle and on the brake. But you still gotta watch out for people. At least the trails are pretty wide. You can fit like almost 3 sleds across. So it's a lot safer than some other trails that are really tight. But yeah, it's just like power lines. More power lines. Just random buildings out in the middle of nowhere. I think this is an old rail grade, so I'm pretty sure it was like an old rail building. So a lot of the area up there is swampy, so people like to play in the swamp. The DNR says you're not allowed to, but people do it anyhow, it looks like. We didn't because we didn't want to get in any, any trouble up there. But there's a lot of tracks like off on the frozen lakes and swamps. But like I said, the first part is just straight and flat. Hopefully next year we're gonna go up again, maybe a few more times, and we get to go explore some more areas. This is a pretty common place to go for like your first time because of the views, and it's a pretty well ridden trail, so you don't get lost too easily. So that's good, especially for your first time. Okay, so now we're up here at top of Rockaway Mountain. As you can see forever. So that's Superior that we're looking at there. It's a pretty big area. In the summertime, you can drive your car up to it and see. I decided to go around and take a look on the other side because it's so pretty up there. You can just see for miles. It looks almost like mountainous. So from here, it's like not even 2 miles, maybe 2 miles to the nearest gas station. So if you're gonna want fuel and you're up here, you better get down to that gas station. Super cool views from up here, though. It went up and down for most of it. Everybody was going slower because they wanted to see the views. We did start ripping again down to the road that goes to the gas station, so we were able to get some speed up. It's just cool though, because like it just winds around. It looks like you're out in like Colorado or something, but just like on a smaller scale. But so much snow. There's probably 4 feet out here in the valleys. When you got on top of the hill, all the wind blew it off. And he had to check and make sure that he wasn't losing water bottles. He thought he was. So we decided then to rip pretty hard here. Because this was a really, really fun section. Through all the trees and the twists and the turns and the up and the down. I still like to run far enough away from like the person that's leading, so in case something happens, I don't just rear end them. And a lot of that happened up there. A lot of the reports were people just getting rear-ended by the group that they're riding with. So I mean, everybody just like, I guess take caution and ride smart up there. Also, like when you have oncoming traffic, like slow down some so you can see how many are actually coming. Because the snow dust can get pretty hard to see up there. And it's just like a huge drift up there. Huge. Now you could lose a whole sled in it. I think that sign said like steep hill, and that was a pretty big hill coming up here, yeah. Coming down around here. Pretty good sized. But yeah, it was fun. I liked it up here. The second day would have been pretty cool. It was a lot more about pipelines, as you'll see here. But didn't make it all that far. But luckily all the sleds made it on the first day. We did about 150 miles. This was a pretty cool view up here. You could see a long ways. Lots and lots of snow dust, so everybody's getting packed in your goggles. So I like recommend bringing like two different kinds of like face shields with you. You know, like a buff or something. Unless you're using like an enclosed helmet. I don't. I use like a dirt bike style helmet. I like it better. I can see more. Another viewing spot. So there's so many areas up here that you can like stop and take pictures at if you want. Look at the area around. Pretty cool. Definitely, so like I said, definitely recommend checking it out. Lots and lots and lots of snow dust. It's pretty cool up here. You can see the lakes. It's like little lakes there, and then you can see Superior. That was really pretty. This is another huge hill as you go down. It was a really cool view. A lot of people stopped there to take a look at it. It's really pretty. But we kept going because I was running really low on fuel, so needed to get back and fuel up. Huge whoops at the bottom of this hill. I mean, they were massive. Luckily, the 153 track on mine soaked it up pretty good. I was able to span it. The 121s had a hard time, and 129s had a hard time getting through that. But yeah, the 153 did good. I really like my sled for like running trails like this, but the only thing I don't like about it is like my top speed's like 60 miles an hour. But it's a pretty stable feeling sled. Getting in tight sections, and I can keep up no problem with everybody else. So now we're into Copper Harbor. This is like their main road / snowmobile trail. We're heading to the gas station so I could fill up. Yeah, so this is the fuel station. Tons of people because like it's the only one out there, so everybody fuels up here because not very many sleds will make it there and back. 150 miles is a long ways on a tank. You just have to wait in line. Alright, so now we filled up, we stopped, we ate lunch, and we are back on the trail again. Full stomachs. We came up with a way of heating up our sandwiches, and I brought pizza rolls with me. We wrapped them in tin foil and stuck them on our cans. It actually worked pretty good. I know they make like the boxes that go on your cans, but we're too hillbilly for that, so we just wrapped it in tin foil and slapped it on our cans. Worked pretty good. We heated hot dogs up the next day with it. Nice warm hot dogs at the top of the hill. It was pretty awesome. Everybody else wanted to see how we did it. So get out there, you gotta like ride down the road all the ways, make a bunch of different corners. Luckily, everybody knew where they were going except for like back end of the group. They all had GPSs up at the front, so that made it nice. one like tavern, bar, restaurant out there. Like every single snowmobiler stopped at. So this is like a little tiny, like I think it's a motel, like the Pines Motel or something like that. Either way, somebody pulled out in front of us. They just backed right out. So you gotta be careful up there because people just don't pay attention to snowmobilers. They're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna back my car out in front of them. So that we go on this road, and the road literally just turns into the snowmobile trail. Like it just dead ends in the snowmobile trail. The only thing down it. This is a pretty sweet section here. It was pretty well ridden, you know, a lot of tracks through there. It was starting to get whooped out a little bit, so it's got some bumps and stuff, but all in all, it was pretty sweet through there. Tons of snow. I think they had more snow on this side than the side we came in on. Like everything was buried. You go off the trail and you're in like 4 feet of snow. So this side was a little bit tighter of trails too, at the beginning, and then the farther we got to Houghton, the wider they got. Quite more people on this side. You gotta make sure you get your hand signals the correct way. Slow down so that they can see through the snow dust and make sure we don't collide. So like a lot of these snowmobile trails on this side are old roads, like seasonal roads people take in the summertime to state parks and like boat launches and all sorts of things, like you name it. This one's kind of tight through here, super turny, cornery. It was kind of fun though. You got to see a lot, man. This one was really fun here. It was starting to get kind of whooped out though, because we kind of drug our feet in the morning getting going, but it was still good. Giving the good old hand signals to everybody so they know how many are behind us, except that was the last one, so it was easy for me with my mittens. Big whoops there. Definitely stand-up trail through here. I do like my bar risers for that. Gives you a lot better control versus like trying to steer at your knees with the old school sleds. It was really pretty with the snow on the trees and stuff like that. It was gorgeous out there, and it was so sunny, which is really hard to get sunshiny days in Michigan. Usually it's always like overcast and cloudy and gonna like snow or rain or something, but have actually like a bluebird day is pretty rare. So this was like one of the most gorgeous days. Ripping up here, getting that side action on the seats, leaning here and there, going around the corners and the whoops. It was a pretty good workout. So many fun corners though. I mean, just awesome up there. You gotta love the UP, especially with the mountainous look and the snow that they get up there. friend up here is just ripping it up on the Crossfire 700 here. That sled's a ripper too. That thing scoots, hooks and bugs. Like, I'm impressed with it. It's definitely a very, very good like crossover sled. Like, it's good for the trails because it keeps up with the faster sleds, but it's good for like medium powder because it still has a longer track and can still like rip through that. The M series definitely can't keep up with it in the trails. I mean, I probably wouldn't take like the Crossfire, you know, out to like the mountains to rip. I'd take the M out there, but if I was just trail riding mostly with some like boondock and ditch banging, I'd totally get a Crossfire, which is actually what I do. So I should probably go get a Crossfire instead. I think through like a lot of these sections we're cruising like probably like 30 to 40 miles an hour. So we're like moving, but nothing crazy. Nothing where we're like out of control, which is good because I really don't feel like crashing on a snowmobile. After reading all the trail reports of people just biffing it or just like driving off of the trail in the trees, I was like, yeah, we're gonna keep it under control today. Especially with the amount of people out there driving with us. So I did bring a extra fuel tank with me with like a gallon and a quarter, or maybe just over a gallon and a quarter. I did have to use it on the way back because I was like starting to spit and sputter. Like I was almost out of fuel. So luckily I had that. I'm glad, because otherwise I would have just been stuck on the side of the trail. And everybody else was getting pretty low too, but I was the first one to go. So I dumped that fuel in there and was able to make it to the gas station. So if you're riding a lot of trails, long ways with an M, I would probably recommend bringing a fuel tank with you. The Crossfire, I think, just like sips fuel, so I'm working the M a lot harder to keep up with everybody, I guess. I do like the can that I have on my sled. It's nice because it gives a little bit more loudness, a little more almost like deep loudness out of it, but it's not so loud that like it's just ear-shattering obnoxious. Like some sleds have some really, really, really loud cans on them. This one's like, it's got a nice exhaust note, as I like to put it. Just the right amount of loudness with the deepness and some tings, but doesn't get loud until like over like 4,500 RPMs. And we had to stop here. We were here for like quite a while, figuring out where we're going. So we decided to switch up, kind of like the riding order, moved around. Yeah, check to make sure we don't get hit by somebody ripping through here. We started going, and then whoever was leading up there, like, I don't know what they were doing. They decided to slow down. I think they were checking to make sure we were all still coming. Like a whole mix of snowmobiles that were riding with us. I had my M out, and then my friend was on her Crossfire, and then we had somebody else on a Firecat F7, and and somebody riding one of the Yamaha 4-strokes, and then 2 Polaris Rush 800s, an older Polaris 600, and a Polaris Fusion 600. And the Polaris Fusion 600 was the one that got stuck at the very beginning of the video. The thing was a tank. So this side there's like a lot of bridges that we crossed, which was neat. So there's like a lot of rivers and stuff. This was a little more like open areas too. So more of areas that got logged. They're logging all like the pines up there. It was pretty cool because it was a lot of like up and down and around and over and under and through. And then we had some just more open sections that we were ripping. I personally don't like the open sections as much because I can't go as fast on them without being just like this screaming at watt with my sled. I like the twisty turny ones where you're like on the throttle and on the brake. My sled is really good in that area because all the powder that people like end up pushing into the corners, I can ride on that, and my paddle track just moves it like crazy. Just hooks and books. Like I said before though, like if I was riding a lot of corners and boondocking and mountain climbing, I'd just keep probably the M, keep riding that thing. But I might have to get a crossfire to ride on some of the trails so I can keep up with everybody and not go through so much fuel. But all in all, both sleds ride really good. So like this was a pretty fun section. We ended up this was a pretty fun section. We ended up taking quite a while to get back, and by the time we started heading like actually back, it got so whooped out. I mean, like huge whoops. Like it was gonna eat the whole sled. I lost my seat because I have a Boss seat on my sled, and one of the buttons just came out of the hull of my sled. Like it just ripped the entire button out of the aluminum. So that was pretty crazy. I was just riding along, standing up, you know, hitting the whoops, getting through them, and all of a sudden my seat's just like taking off on me. It's like, what is going on here? So luckily I had the fuel tank on. I had two ratchet straps on that, so we were able to ratchet strap the seat back down. And I didn't get that on camera because it was like completely pitch black out, and you know, cameras don't pick up the blackness very well. So I didn't tape any of that. I should have, but then I had like a light and stuff, so we just put the cameras away then. Yeah, it was just a lot of like flat now we're getting into. We hit some more sections that were kind of twisty-turny. We started running actually quite a few more people. Got about like halfway back, and then some of the other people's sleds were having problems. They were having problems with like following plugs out. I know this video is kind of long for you guys, but figured, you know, I couldn't find too much on it up here, so wanted to show you guys what it was like. So that was the end of the first day. We started our second day off in Bergland. We were going to go up to Lake of the Clouds, which is in the Porcupine Mountains, so it's even farther west. So we started off, we had to go down this road a little ways. We had to figure out how we were going to get fuel because it was a pretty long round trip, and we were not going to have any fuel stations on the way. So we ended up putting another fuel tank on my friend's Crossfire. We were able to have room on it and strap it down. So I had a tank and she had a tank for anybody that ran out. So we should have been able to get back. So we had to ride down the road for a little ways. It's not the best. Yeah, I was kind of worried about like overheating because I still like to overheat and ride down the road. I don't get enough snow up in my heat exchanger. I do have my scratchers down too. So, because the day before I was having problems with it overheating. So we got onto the trail here, pull off, we're checking everybody, making sure everybody was good, like everybody was having a good time. I gave the old thumbs up, yeah, I'm good to go. Now I'm trying to figure out who's gonna go where. My sled was starting to get a little warm, so I decided that I should probably go off into the powder here. It was pretty powdery, it was like a little packed, but it was pretty powdery. Kind of ripping it. Really wasn't going too fast. And I came off here, and my sled decided to destroy itself. It blew the bogies off of it, it broke the rear axle, it shredded the track, and it bent my rail.
Gripping, huh? Did a gripping.
As you see, my scratchers were out though, so didn't get too hot.
Dude.
It just completely trashed the skid. The skid was just gone. So we hooked it up and we drug it back and found out that not even like 500 feet in front of me, one of the other kids' sleds blew up, like just completely locked up. So they drug it back and then we drug mine back and we got them into the trailers. We ended up two-upping. We ended up actually making it to Lake of the Clouds, pulling wheelies there. We ended up making it to Lake of the Clouds. We two-upped. The fire cat ended up blowing a belt, like, I don't know, 5 miles from where my sled came apart, and it took the cooling system out. So I've never seen a belt do that, but yeah, the belt blew up, took the cooling system out. We kept losing my sled, because these hooks didn't like to hook very well. So we ended up wrapping it around twice, and that seemed to do it.
Oh yeah, that worked a lot better. That might work.
So they had towed the fire cat back and put it in a trailer. So we two-upped. Only 5 of us made it up there. Two-upped up there. I think 5 of us, maybe 6 of us. I can't remember. We ended up blowing the suspension out on the Crossfire. It was just stuck all the way down with 2 of us on it. This sled right here. And then the Fusion, there's my track, just all in pieces. So we decided to actually pull it into the trailer with the other snowmobile. This door's like impossible to open. Had to go help him open it. Yeah, so we had it hooked to the players there. Gotta drag all the stuff out. But yeah, we had to drag it through with the snowmobile. It worked. It actually worked pretty good. But we did end up making it, and you'll see at the end what Lake of Clouds looks like. But it's still a fun trip. I have a video coming out of swapping over the skid, putting an M8 skid on my M7. So if you guys want to see that, it's on Heidi's Garage. It's a YouTube. You guys can go over that channel and check it out. It's going to be a lot lighter and a lot meaner sled now with the M8 skid. Be ready for next year. But thanks for watching, guys. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to drop a comment. I'll try to answer the most that I can. But yeah, see you guys next time.